Sci-Fi Invasion. I'm your host, Joey Hollywood, and I'm trying to get through all 50 movies in this 50 movie box set from Mill Creek in 50 weeks. The movie I watched today was called Cosmos, War of the Planets. And this was also featured on the classic Sci-Fi Invasion box set that I got when I was a kid. As the last time I'll bring it up because we're on the last disc. And this one, because I am familiar with the old Sci-Fi Invasion box sets. I have a lot of fond memories of those movies. This one, I actually had no memory at all about it. I was like, oh yeah, I know I've seen this a few times, but I don't remember anything about it. And it suddenly occurs to me why I don't remember much about it. This movie kind of sucks. Yeah, it's not the worst thing on this box set, but it was definitely a chore to sit through. See, this movie feels like, you know what, everyone hates Star Trek 1 and 5, right? This feels like all the worst elements of Star Trek 1 and 5 combined. When people say Star Trek is boring, this is the movie that I think they're picturing in their head. Because, gosh, this movie, it's not just that it's boring. This movie would work a lot better if it was like 45 minutes. There's just so much nonsense and weirdness, and the plot just seems to just drag on and on and on. And there's weird moments in it too, where like there's a part where there's a musical score that starts to swell, and there's lyrics to it that says we're in space, and then it just cuts, and you're like, what? Was there supposed to be a song there? I don't know if this is a shortened version that's on this box set. But yeah, it's like, okay, so you started a song and then cut it short like a second in? It's really weird. There's like a guy in it, and the whole movie they're like, oh, he's a loose cannon, we can't use him. And it just feels like it's there to pad time because they talk about it so much, but then they never really do anything. They go to this planet where there's like a godlike figure that's just a big robot. It feels like a crappy episode of Star Trek that's stretched out to 90 minutes. It needs to be 45 minutes. I felt antsy the whole time I was watching this movie. I was like, come on, just get to the point. The charm of the miniatures and all that stuff, that stuff I usually like in these crappy movies, it just wasn't clicking for me. But it does feel like it should be on this box set. It's not like a peplum, like it's not like a Sword and Sandals movie that I've seen like, gosh, like 6 of at this point. So I was relieved that we had a sci-fi movie near the end. But it just, yeah, and there's like, and I keep on comparing it to Star Trek, but that's really, you can tell that's what it's inspired by, because there is a Spock-like character that they just throw into the crew near the end of the movie. This feels like it's meant to be a pilot for a proposed TV series. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. And I think one of the more irritating things about it was it kept feeling like it was about to end. After they do the whole meeting God thing, God's a robot, they destroy the robot, they introduce the Spock analogy into the crew, who looks just like Spock but bald and green. Although he did look like he was like black for most of the movie because it was so dark. And then once he's on the ship with some proper lighting, it's like, oh, he's supposed to be green. Once they go there, it's like, okay, finally the movie's about to wrap up. Oh, there's like 30 more minutes left of this movie. And there's a character, he's like the only character that doesn't wear a hat. Ends up, he's like possessed by like an alien like thing. It turns into that, like, what's it called? I think it's called Creature. It's an alien ripoff. It turns into that, where he's got like stuff all over his face, and they have to incapacitate him and blow him out of space. And you're like, okay, finally the movie's done. And then it's revealed that their computer is actually been possessed by the robot god on this planet. And it's like, oh my gosh, just this movie end already. And then after that, it does end in the most unsatisfying way possible. So the worst I can say about this movie is it is an incredibly irritating and unsatisfying experience from beginning to end. But it also is the kind of movie that I could see myself like riffing with a group of friends. I could easily see myself, if Midnights were to go on for more seasons, which I'm not getting my hopes up for, I could see myself using this movie. It is what it is. I think that's all I got to say about the movie. It kind of sucked. But yeah, I'll see you next week for the final installment of 50 Movies in 50 Weeks. We're one movie away, and thank you guys. I'm not trying not to jump the gun, but I want to say thank you for sticking with me this year, and if you watched last year too, these past 2 years. It really means a lot, but I'll get into that a little bit more in the final one. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next week. Remember, please be kind and rewind.